Christian Nation FM Radio.
Christian Nation FM 106.5 FM. You're tuned in and enjoying the love of God as well as enjoying the programs that we have just brought you here on 106.5 FM. You have tuned in and we have been joined by two guests in the studio who are coming from different areas, different fields, just trying to describe and also discuss how youths can participate in leadership as well as helping the country, strengthening the economy and uplift the living standards of our fellow youths outside there in this country, Zambia. So let's get to just have a bit of time from now to 15:36. We're going to be sharing and entertaining you, but let's get back to the lovely program, which is the youth participation, and it is called the Youth in Leadership. Which page is live? We also maybe they can follow on
my page.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, our dear listeners. Lovely day today, Thursday, and we are preparing you for that Valentine's Day. In the studio, I've been joined by two guests who are coming from different fields. As I explained earlier on, that we're going to have a very interesting time on Youths in Leadership program here on 106.5 FM. That's Christian Nation, loving you and praying for the nation. So before I do anything, let me just introduce my guest in the studio. So I have my guest, Mr. President himself, the future president, leader of the country. That is just my explanation and my introduction. I have Mr. Chilufya Tayali. Welcome to the program, President.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be on CNFM, Christian Nation Radio. This is the first time that I'm here, so I'm excited. And I say good afternoon to the listeners out there.
Wow, that's so amazing. So I'm also having somebody who is coming from the Economic Association of Zambia by the name of Rita Mukandawili. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you, my guest, on this platform for the first time, and the first time having you too. So yes, but before we just do anything, I would like just to give this time to the president himself, just to pray for us before we start the program.
Indeed.
Yes.
So let us pray. Our loving God, we thank you that you have given us this moment so that we can be able to engage on this radio program, and much more to be able to speak out to the people that are listening right now. Our God, our Father, we are in different situations at the moment, and especially at this point in time, our country is overwhelmed by people that are terrorizing their brothers and sisters. Lord, our Father, we want to pray that you may reach out to the hearts of these people so that they can look into themselves, analyze their conscience, and be filled with the Holy Spirit so that they can be able to look at their brothers and sisters as people that they should love and not to terrorize. And Lord, our Father, since this program is about the youths, we want to pray that all the young people in this country, who are the majority of this country, may be blessed, may be able to achieve their dreams, because indeed the future is in the hands of the young people. So therefore, Lord, we pray that even as we discuss in this program, we will be able to edify the young people, to inspire the young people, so that indeed the future can be theirs for the good of this nation and for the good of your glory. We pray all this through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen and amen. Thank you so much for that power of prayer. I almost said pastor.
Well,
Just imagine. All right, my dear listeners, in case you have just joined us, this is the Youths in Leadership program with me, your host Nyambe, and my guest in the studio is President Chilufya Tayali, who is the president of Economic and Equity Party, EEP. So he's just joined us in the studio to just have that experience with us here, the youths. And on the other side, I have my guest as well, is coming from the Economic Association of Zambia, Rita Mukandawire. Thank you so much for coming through and for having this time joining us discussing this topic of our discussion for today. So before we go any further, I would like just the president maybe to just give us a brief of the manifesto of the party.
To be honest with you, this is a very wonderful program.
Wow.
That you have, and you know, it is inspired.
Wow.
It sounds really Christian, and I would not want to defile this program, this wonderful program,
Wow.
by being over political. I think I would want to speak on this platform as a parent, by the way.
Wow.
Because I am not as young as
as
many
myself
people,
here.
yes, many people think. I'm quite elderly with children that are, you know, youths who are also trying to find their way in life.
Yes.
So I don't want to speak as a politician per se, but I would want to speak as a parent, as a patriot, and as a patriot, I would want to say the things that many Zambians, especially young people, are looking forward to, what they wish for. And that's how I would want to speak. And in this case, I would want to say, for starters, I mean, every Zambian wants to have a life.
Okay.
Every Zambian wants to have a life. All of us, we want life, you know, because the first gift that we receive from our God is a gift of life.
Wow.
And once you are given that gift of life, you want to live it well.
Wow.
So the first thing that I would want to wish for all Zambians is that they have a good life.
Wow.
And at the moment, there are a lot of challenges. Our country is faced with a lot of challenges, which makes our life difficult.
Okay.
When you're moving around, a lot of people say life is difficult, life is hard, and so on and so forth. So we would want to have, I would want to wish for the Zambian people to have a good life. And for you to have a good life, the first thing that you should have is to have a home.
Okay.
All of us, we want to have a home.
Yes.
So I would want to wish all Zambians to have homes.
Okay.
But for you to have a home, you must have a land. So one of the things that I aspire for the Zambian people is that they are able to have homes.
Okay.
You know, not homes you're renting, you know, because most of us, we are just renting.
Yes.
So we don't really have our own homes.
Okay.
And we are sleeping, we are wondering, maybe today, maybe sinzankana and drama za renti, and so on and so forth. So for me, my aspiration is that first and foremost, people should have homes.
Okay.
Should have homes, should own land, should own houses. And when I will be president, just to extend that a little bit, these are the things that I would want. The number one thing is that I would want, when Zambians say, I am a Zambian, they should be able to claim something of Zambia.
Wow.
At the moment, Zambians have got nothing to claim out of this country.
Wow.
You can't even claim the foot you are stepping on. You can't claim it.
Okay.
I aspire for Zambians to have that. The other thing is enlightenment. Enlightenment, you know, when you are ignorant, it's very difficult for you to fend for yourself or to sustain yourself.
Okay.
So people need to be enlightened. In other words, they need to go to school.
Okay.
I would want Zambian people to not to fail to go to school. At the moment, we have a number of people failing to go to school, especially young people. We have a lot of young people who, some of them, couldn't manage to go to school, you know, because their parents are poor and they literally failed to go to school. We have others that started and along the way they dropped out. We have others that have completed, and right now as we are talking on this program, they are sitting there wondering, will I go to university? Will I go to a college? I would want a situation where these problems are moved away, especially from our young people, because if people are not educated, that's why we are having these other problems where people now are being abused, you know, in different ways, because they are not educated, because they are not enlightened. The other thing that I would wish for the Zambian people, for you to have a good life, you should be able to have a good health. At the moment, our country is faced with various challenges in terms of health. I mean, our government, yes, they're doing something, and I commend the Honorable Minister, you know, Chilufya is doing a tremendous work, and the PF government, they are doing quite a good work in health sector, because look, when you are in opposition, it doesn't mean that you should always criticize everything. You should be able to see the positive things that the people are doing. And clearly, we can see the infrastructure that is being done in health. We can clearly see how our hospitals, the University of Zambia recently, they did, you know, very specialized high-tech operations where they separated. You remember those twins? And I think they did a transplant of, you know, heart, you know, issues of heart transplantation. These things they are doing, and I think we need to commend them. So these are the things that I wish the Zambian people would have. The other thing, I mean, of course, there are little things that we would want to have a good life. The other thing is food, my brother. If you don't have food, it is a challenge. And therefore, from my point of view, I would want the Zambian people to be self-sustained, to be food secure. And this means having an agriculture system that works, where people are able to grow their food, you know, without struggling in terms of you know, farming imports, and afterwards, when they get that, they should be able to have a market. And of course, we also need to invest in terms of, you know, technology. You know, time is gone where you know, utukasu. You know, we need to move forward so that at least we can have abundance. So in a nutshell, my brother and sister, of course, here, I'm not forgetting you, Rita, because we are all Zambians. Yes. So what I would want is to have this kind of situation where Zambians are able to claim something of Zambia, Zambians are enlightened, Zambians have a good health, Zambians are food secure, and most of all, we have that peace and loving, so that even young people like yourself, when you are enjoying all these things, you have everything and you have at peace, you can marry and start a new life as well. This is what I espouse for this country. And whether I'm a politician or not a politician, but I wish we could have such a kind of scenario in our country. And when I will be president, I will strive to achieve or to attain this kind of good life for the Zambians.
Wow. So amazing and interesting at the same time. So coming back to the economic perspective of you, I'm going to ask you, Madam Lita. Yes, we've heard the manifesto that the president has just alluded or said, explained, and one of the things that he said is making sure that each and every person goes to school, and also making sure that we live a better life. So according to now and the challenges that maybe the country will face in the future, what are you planning as the Economic Association of Zambia to ensure that we have a very stable economy in the country?
Thank you very much. One of the things that we're doing as ESF is ensuring that, especially that we're talking about the youth, I'll keep referring to the youth. We've created a very good environment for the youth. I'm going to talk about the other events, but the Wakanda One Diaspora Summit is also including the youth to participate. What this simply means is that as ESF, our position is very critical and it's cardinal. We're encouraging all the youth to come on board. We cannot achieve development without the youth. We're bringing them on board to participate and achieve a common goal for the nation.
Okay. Wow. That's so amazing. So you bring on them on board to participate in the national development.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so how well are we going to help our leaders to understand the importance of engaging the youths in economic growth?
Okay, so like what my president here mentioned, we have a very receptive government. The summit is going to include both policymakers and the average youth. By that I mean the person that's moving on the street is welcome to come and participate in our event.
Okay.
This will be held at the government complex. Attendance is obviously by invitation. It's free. We're expecting about 1,000 youths.
Okay, not everyone.
We're gonna give invitations.
Okay.
Very strategic because we're looking for the venue that we hired obviously accommodates 1,000.
Okay.
Imagine we keep the place open for everybody. We might have a crisis.
Okay.
However, those that would like to be part of the event are welcome to walk to our offices. The numbers are all over social media, on our page, on our website. You can get in touch with any of us and we just shortlist you. We just need to know who's coming. Not because we want to restrict, but because we need to obviously prepare where people are going to sit and all the logistics.
All right, now coming back to the political and economical aspect of the country, you as the Association of Zambia, Economic Association of Zambia, how well are you going to maybe build the relationship between the leaders and youths to ensure that all the youths are engaged maybe in the economic growth and also in leadership?
Okay, first of all, I would just like to emphasize the fact that nobody has stopped any from participating. I think the stigma is just a mentality. People shun away from leadership positions, especially youths, because they feel I just don't fit there.
Okay.
I would like to remind the youths you are all welcome. We are all welcome to participate in our economic issues, leadership issues. We all need to come to play. This can only happen when there's a mindset change.
Okay.
It's all about the attitude. It's what somebody tells themselves. I think I don't fit.
Okay.
Or look at our president here. Who told him to form his party? That was a decision that he made. Success is so deliberate. It's a decision that the person makes. So every youth out there, please be encouraged. Believe in yourself. The first thing that you believe in is yourself before anybody else does.
Wow.
Please go out there. Take up things that you feel are challenging. Take up positions. Do things that you've never done before. If you need to go back to school, go back to school. Acquire knowledge.
Wow.
If you're an entrepreneur, I mean, school is not meant for everybody. If you're an entrepreneur, go out there. Start a small business. Equip yourself. Leadership obviously should be influenced by some kind of independence financially. I don't see us create a generation of leaders that will be out there, that's where the aspect of corruption comes in. So before people even aspire to be leaders, we need to look at how we can be self-sustaining. By this I mean, if you can't go to school, if you can't get a formal job, please, entrepreneurship is the way to go. It's very safe. You create jobs for other people. You're going to create a job for yourself. You're going to obviously contribute to economic development of the country.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much. We're coming back to the political point of view and understanding from the president himself. So, Mr. President, how well are you going to engage the youths in leadership?
Indeed, like I said, and it is common sense that the youths are the future of tomorrow.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this is just like a cliche, which is usually repeated, but not taken so seriously. Not taken so seriously. So, from my point of view, I think we need to create opportunities for the young people. We need to create opportunities for young people. That is the first thing. And I am not that politician that speak eschatologically, in the future, when I come and so on and so forth, because I don't know about tomorrow. So my attitude towards life and my political life is to change things today. And so I would not want to speak to say, this is what I want to do when I come in and so on and so forth. I would want to speak today, that today we have a government in place. And this government in place was elected by the Zambian people. And the Zambian people have expectations. And by the way, among the people that put the Patriotic Front in government are the youths. The majority of the people that went out to vote, particularly in 2001, 2011, when the PF came into power, it are the youths.
Yeah.
And therefore, the government of today, the PF government, ought to make sure that they create opportunities for the young people.
Okay.
You know, the young people have got potential, but this potential will go to waste unless it is utilized, unless it is harnessed. So, my first appeal is to the government, you know, that they need to create opportunities. And indeed, I commend the PF on a number of issues. But I think in terms of youths, they are failing. And I want to speak very directly. I hope my brother Emmanuel Mulenga, Honorable Emmanuel Mulenga, is listening, because he's the minister in charge of the young people. And how can they create, how can they enhance the opportunities for the young people? Number one, like I said, it's the issue of education. As far as I'm concerned, when you talk about the general education, for example, you know, they say there is a free education, but really, at the end of the day, we don't really have free education. We don't really have free education. Why do I say that? You find that when you go to school, when every child to go to school, you find that they are asked, no, tomorrow you bring 100 kwacha for us to buy cobra, or when you come to school, bring reams of paper, or this and that. And these things, simple as they may be, they are far reached by some of the poor people of our nation. Zambia is about 52% people who are poor. So it is a fact that there are some people who are failing to go to school. And my issue is that I would like to encourage the government that can they try to see how they can really make sure that this free education policy, which is there, it is them that put this policy, it is actually working. At the moment, we have challenges. We have challenges. From there, we talk about you know, those that are in university, those that are at secondary schools. When you are at the secondary school, these days, yes, you young people are quite sophisticated and are doing very well technologically. But there is something that is missing out. How are we modeling? How are we modeling these young people for the life out there? In terms of, it is difficult today for people to say, for a young person to say, what are you going to be? When I was growing up, they used to ask us, when you grow, what are you going to be? No, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. We had careers departments in our schools. These days, we don't have it. This is a challenge such that now, when you come out of secondary school, you are lost. You don't even know what you're going to do. You don't know. And especially if your parents are poor, it even becomes worse. We are not creating that opportunity. We are not helping young people. Those that go to university, I appreciate this time we have so many universities, especially private universities. But let's ask ourselves, how many quality universities do we have among the private universities that are on board? A lot of them are not really backing the young people or making them ready for the skills that they need to go out there and be productive in society. So, in a nutshell, there is something that is good that we are doing. Like schools are being built. I know the government is trying to employ young people. They are trying to empower young people, especially young empowerment these days in terms of money, entrepreneurship. It really is not there because there is no money. Government is struggling, and we need to understand this. But surely there can be a way that we can do to support those who are trying to help themselves. Those who are doing like Tumantun Temba, setting talk time. I feel very bad when you find that somebody, a youth, is trying to do something, and all of a sudden you see these the council people come, grab him, put him in a van like a criminal. You know, those things are not helping the youths. So from my point of view, I am saying, yes, there's something that is being done, but we could do better. And this is why I am aspiring to become president, because I'm hoping that when I become president, maybe I can kick some of these guys to really work, because in Zambia we have very good policies, very good policies. The problem that we have is implementation.
Okay. So now, how are you going to implement the policies?
Like I've said, it is an issue of attitude. I think one of the things that we need to do in this country is change of attitude.
Okay.
Change of attitude. There are so many things that we have at our disposal as a country, but our attitude is far less to be desired.
Okay.
For example, we are talking, like I've said, this free education and so on and so forth. This policy is there. And it's not that these people who put this free education, they didn't think that schools need Cobra, that schools need chalk, that schools need paper. They knew that these things are needed. And I'm sure there is a plan where in the budget all these things are catered for and money is distributed among schools. But you find that the grants that are supposed to go to schools are not remitted. Why are they not remitted? I know at the end of the day it may boil down to the issue of resources, but it is also lack of, the inertia that is in the people who are working in there. Talk about, I wouldn't want to blame the teachers, because I think in Zambia, a number of teachers are quite dedicated, although we have a few bad eggs, but I think they are dedicated, but we need to motivate them. So if you don't motivate them, I mean, it becomes a problem. If a teacher hasn't gotten paid, or if a teacher is getting small money, little money, I mean, how does he manage to go to school? How does he manage to stay at school the whole day and teach? So these issues of attitude needs to be looked into. And also you young people, you go out there, I'm looking for a job, I want a job. Today you get a job, 2 days later, 1 week later, you start making excuses. No, I'm late because it was raining. No, tomorrow I can't come because I'm sneezing. No, because, I mean, you've got so many excuses. The young people of today have got so many excuses for not doing what is expected of them.
Okay.
And I am calling upon the young people that you will never change life unless you take an initiative. Look, EIZ, they have got this conference that is going on. I mean, you might be surprised, and it is free. But look at how many youths are eager to go there. How many youths are eager to go there, and how many youths will go there and sit attentively to get the knowledge. You find that some of them, because the friend has registered, they will also register. Then they will go there. The moment they are there, the first thing, they will pick up the phone, be on WhatsApp. 2 minutes later, no, I want to go out, and they are roaming around. You are not having that good attitude that will help this country to move forward.
Okay. So attitude there, it has been mentioned and emphasized that our youths, or my fellow youths, I'm also youths.
Exactly.
I shouldn't run away.
Yes.
Okay, I believe Madam Rita is a youth as well.
Yes.
Okay, really?
At least I'm below 40.
So now you being a youth, you've heard of the attitude of the youths. What could be your advice to some of the youths? Is the fact that you as an economic organization or association, you are trying to work extra hard and help the youths be empowered. Yeah, by just maybe empowering them, educating, helping them also to understand how they can be the future leaders. What are some of your advice to somebody who is listening right now, and that person is a youth, maybe he or she might have that same habit of saying, I'm not doing this because maybe I'm sick or not feeling well. Yes.
Okay, first of all, I would like to talk about, I like the point that is raised on the attitude. I would like us to move away from dependency on government.
Okay.
If you go on our social media platform, what you find is everybody blaming it on the government. I understand the role that the government plays, and I'm not trying to shun or estimate the efforts that government should make. However, I would like to also mention that it's high time as a nation or as youths we reach the point where we actually create these jobs. We're talking about unemployment. Youths have to reach a point where you create jobs for other people. By this I mean let us promote entrepreneurship. I'll give an example of an Indian community, right? When a child is just maybe at, reaches the age of 5, you find that the father was going to carry that child to the shop, showing them how they conduct their business. That's not the culture that Africans have. What you find is that your father is running a successful business and he tells you to just stay home. Let us promote this from our household. Carry your child, teach them how to save. What I was taught when I was young, well, I'm not saying my mother was a very bad person, but she taught me how to spend. So this day she tells me we're gonna go to, was it ZCBC? So she'll give me money and tell me buy anything that you want. What she was trying to indirectly teach me is when you have money in your possession, please look for what you want to buy. That's a culture we need to move away from. So what you do, develop a savings culture, develop an entrepreneurship mindset. This is the only way we're going to take the nation forward. The issue of unemployment and the dependency on government, for me, is not a discussion for tomorrow. It has to end. And this can only happen if people decide. I mentioned before, success is such a deliberate decision somebody makes. I have decided to succeed, regardless of the odds. It doesn't mean the environment is going to favor everything that you're doing. It doesn't mean that the kwacha is going to, maybe the dollar will be trading at 1. No. Given all the challenges in the economy, please decide to succeed. Please decide to pay the price. Go out there and make sure that you just succeed.
All right, that's interesting. So my fellow youths, let's go out there and make sure that we succeed. Yes, now coming back to the president himself. A lot of youths today, they do have dreams of them getting succeeding or getting having that better future in their having their better futures. And you've mentioned something that is so special about your manifesto, creating better future for the future leaders, and also maybe helping them to be engaged in the developmental projects. So that time when you will become a president, what are you going to be, maybe put the first thing, making sure that you provide a proper platform that will have that will create employment for youths, not maybe by providing them with jobs, but a proper platform that will make youths to create employment for themselves?
Yeah, look, again, when I talk about the issues of attitude, it has to start with me. And I always emphasize that my attitude towards politics is that not to say when I will be. No, I want it to happen today. Because when you enter politics, you become the voice of the people. You become an intercessor for the people to the government that is in power. So basically, if I can summarize your question, you're basically asking me, how can we create opportunities? How can we create opportunities? This doesn't have to happen in 2021 when Chilufya Tayali will be president, because definitely, I'm going to stand and it's touch and go. So, but nonetheless, it's not about next year. It's not about when Chilufya Tayali will be in power. And this is the wrong attitude that many politicians have. The selfish attitude. The selfish attitude of saying, unless it's me, this will not happen. That is a wrong attitude to my fellow politicians, and especially to you young people. If you want to aspire for politics, don't say, unless I am there, then this can happen. We are here to save the Zambian people. You want to save the Zambian people. When you become a politician, what basically you want to say is that I want to save the Zambian people. And to save the Zambian people, you don't have to say until I'm in power. Start today. Start today. Start changing the lives of the Zambian people today. And at the right time, your time will come. Your time will come. You just do your bit here now, and your time will come. Because look, even Edgar Lungu today is president. He's doing his first term. In 2021, if he is elected again, he will be doing the second term. after second term, whether he likes it or not, he will have to go, isn't it? And if he goes, somebody has to take over. Has to take over. So for me, I am a relaxed, cool president.
Wow.
Relaxed, cool president, because I know I don't have to fight. I'm not going to fight anyone. I'm not. It will just happen. Time will just come, and I'll just go in. I'll just be ushered in without fighting anyone. But in the meantime, what do? I need to help those that are in power to say, can you create opportunities? My friend at CNFM is asking, how can we create opportunities? And indeed, that's a very good question. How do we create opportunities? Number one, like I alluded to, let's create an education system that will absorb or cleanse the ignorance of the youths, such that they are educated, they are enlightened, they are not cheated, you know, especially if it is young ladies. Rita, I know he understands how you young ladies are cheated, you know. They are cheated, especially those who are not educated. They are very vulnerable. Those who have been to school, they are sharp. It's very difficult.
Okay.
But those that are in the compounds, sorry, I'm not speaking down on the people that are in the compounds, but that's why we find the poor people who are failing to go to school. You find that they are cheated, and they are being cheated by their fellow poor people. Now, you know, because this young person is so young, and this young boy is so young, but out of their ignorance, they don't know how to handle their emotions. They end up falling into, you know, a situation whereby they have a child whose child they cannot look after. Next, you see them Pama traffic lights. No one number. It is a way of, you know, begging. It's a begging ball. You know, this is not a good situation. Those are Zambians. They are as important as my good Rita, who is sitting here speaking, articulating issues. But unfortunately, they are disadvantaged. So I strongly emphasize that, yes, my father, Valungu Niwatata, is an older man. I beseech him that can we try to see what we can do. I know the means are difficult, you know, the resources are meager, but can we try and see how we can enhance education? Education is the key. And I want to speak also, you know, Rita spoke about, you know, that we shouldn't be dependent on government. Because when you have an opportunity to get into school, please embrace that opportunity. Please don't get distracted. Don't go to school and waste time on trivial things. Embrace education. You have to succeed. Study. Pass your exams. Do your education requirements, you know, obligations. Do them. Do them. So, number one, anyway, at the end of the day, is education. But it takes two to tango. The government will provide the facilities. You have to apply yourself. The other thing that we can do to create opportunities is indeed, creating jobs. Because this issue of also youths, they go to school, after they finish, they fail to find employment. I know it is possible, like Rita has said, that we can also create employment. But the primary responsibility rests on the current government. The primary responsibility rests on the government. And I am happy President Edgar Lungu is talking about, the 2030 vision, where they're talking about industrialization, where they're talking about agriculture. These will create employment. And I don't want to beat them just because in the co-opposition to say, no, they're not doing this, they're not doing this. We are seeing industries coming up.
Yes.
Just the other day we saw, is it Zamanita, where the president was opening? We also saw him opening a milling company. These are good things. But you see, what I can say is that it's not enough. The demand is high. So it is a call on the government that can we create industries, because industries are what will create employment. Industries are what will make our country economically stable.
Wow.
Unless we don't have the industries, we keep importing things. I mean, it will be difficult. Even our kwacha is going so bad, and people keep saying, hey, PF, you need to understand, how does the kwacha depreciate? It is because we are importing everything. Now, sopo.
Okay.
If you go in my shops, you will see that a lot of our soap products are being imported. This time, now, we're talking about cleanliness. Cleanliness. And we have that hand washing soap.
Yes.
I mean, the products, some of them are coming from outside. So, cooking oil, which we need every day, a lot of it is being imported. By the way, can you imagine, we even import fish in this country?
Okay.
Fish.
All right.
We are importing fish.
Let me just give out the number to the listeners.
Please.
Who will need to participate. So in case you tuned in, my guest in the studio is the president for Economic and Equity Party, Mr. Chilufya Tayali. And also I have my guest, who is the only lady in the studio from Economic Association of Zambia, Madam Rita Mukandawile. She's a Deputy National Secretary. So in case you have just tuned in and you want to call in, the number to call is 0960-248-915. 0960-248-195. We already have a caller. Okay, so we're going straight forward. Hello, caller. Bwino mwacho mabwanji. Okay. Atibandani zina? Over period, okay?
So tunenyewana kukamba kuna kuti taminishinga lenge kuna kuti isogoro mavuto yatete kutubana amene wakula masitari kupunzira zona anagamba bwi. So problem amene tuonapo ni government is provide kuna kuti internal policy must school. So tubana watu amene na makolo pao no kuti kwa kwanza kwenda. Katika mneti doktor zote makobla na maarifa patenta anashia leta kuika ni wa na kwa
Okay.
kwa mimi au kuti bila basi tunzira planti.
Okay.
So hizo msimamo tunaelewa na kuna kuti na hapo makulu kuliko problem. Sasa kujitendea pamoja na vision ya government ndio tuzinango vikala bila kwa hiyo wanataka kuwa kuti mani sana kwa nini tukule kulikonga ya.
Okay.
The government that we have all extension, what is that of that is enough to go to the rest. Then there is what as a result, even in the family, the people are compiled, investing and that run out of the country from here.
Okay.
The government.
All right.
On a problem on my school, you don't want to go longer because the government of follow. Because the I mean, not denial. I'm a problem, the limited party.
Okay, so conclude, Kai. Okay, all right. Okay, Scom. Zikom Mapiri. So we are discussing youths. The program is Youth in Leadership, and we are discussing. Okay, I have a caller. All right, I've lost that caller. All right, you can still call in. The number is 0960-248-915. And the topic of our discussion is how well we can engage the youths in national development, and also how we can help the youths to develop the habit of participating in helping the country to just maybe to help uplift the country. Yes, so I was saying my guest in the studio is the Deputy National Secretary from Economic Association of Zambia. That's Madam Rita Mukandawile. and also the President for Economic and Equity Party, Chilufya Tayali. So you are tuned in, and right now, so you can still send that message and call. We have a message before we proceed. Mr. Tayali, you are very right. That's a message coming from going to the President. Mr. Tayali, you are very right. Youths of nowadays are very lazy, too much. If you pale, if you pale sana, beer drinking, can't sell charcoal or fish, even joining security guards. Brian from Garden House. Thank you so much, Brian from Garden House. But I would like to allow the President to just react maybe to the callers.
Well, basically, I think Mr. Perry was just emphasizing the point and giving the realistic part of it, because I can imagine Mr. Perry is a parent, so he understands what these things are, and I agree with him that indeed some parents can't really afford this. So if we are saying that there's free education in this country, I think Honorable Mavumba must ensure that indeed it is free education, and you know, we just give it that way. I think basically that is what I can comment. Maybe Rita wants to add something.
You can go ahead as well.
Well, just to agree with the caller, I would just like to mention that sometimes some of these demands have to just come from the teachers' committees.
Okay.
You know, they come up with civilian day. You find that my daughter comes home 3 times in a term. One of civilian day. Like, what's this thing all about? And on each occasion, she's supposed to go with a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Maybe I can afford that.
Okay.
You can afford that because you're from abroad. How about the average Zambian who's just selling on the street? Should I give my child money because she's worried gonna go to school in clothes? It doesn't really make sense. Some of these things don't even make sense. So yes, I think some of these things should just be done away.
Okay.
Let me just also just make a quick come in, just you know, the issue that Rita has actually brought out, you know where these requirements come as an initiative of what we call PTA, Parent Teachers Association, because usually it is the parents and the teachers agreeing that we're going to do this. Mostly this is what happens. And I do sympathize with the teachers, because at the end of the day they want to run the school. They want to run the school. The challenge that is there mostly is that they don't receive the support, the adequate support from government. Sometimes it doesn't even come. But sometimes, I mean, when it comes, it's also very little. So it puts the teachers and the parents, because these days schools are run by parents and teachers. Okay, we have boards now, so we have Parents Teachers Association. These are the people that run the schools. Of course, I'm talking about government schools and not private schools. So there is this challenge, and this is why today, me as one who is in opposition, the checks and balances I'm offering to PF, particularly to my elder brother, Mr. Mavumba, is that can they make sure that the grants that the schools are supposed to receive, they go to the schools. I know the resources are not easy to find, but we have to, if we have a policy of free education, we should not start having excuses such that we now make parents and teachers, you know, start looking for ways and means of raising money. At the end of the day, it is disadvantaging the poor children who fail to go to school, because unfortunately in some of these schools they even chase that, no, you haven't paid, you haven't brought this, you go home. I want to appeal to the teachers, the headmistresses, the headmasters, that please stop harassing or stop you know, being mean to the poor children who are failing to pay, because it is really not their fault. So please let us be nice when we are looking after these poor people in schools. I think that's what I can add, and I totally agree that every other day these days, it is now even becoming, some of these schools, they're even private. It is like a business. Today they mentioned this, no, today there is a civilian day, you have to go, this. And indeed, some, like I've said, some teachers, are bad eggs. Some teachers, they are taking advantage. And they're taking advantage because Paliaka Punda Palia, Karaka Punda Vashila government, where they have not given. So now when they're asking, sometimes some of these teachers, they even ask for more.
Okay.
But who suffers at the end of the day is the poor child.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now coming to the system, you know, they only say we change the government, but we don't change the system. And that's what has been the challenge to so many leadership, where you change the government, but you don't change the system. So you, when you come in, I've seen the party name is itself. It's just defining what economic. It's saying economic and equity party. Yes. How are you going to ensure that the system is well made to help the youth participate in the economical growth of the country?
I agree with you, and this is a problem of many governments. And you know, sometimes I laugh at some of my presidential candidates, some of my fellow presidential candidates, who like to say, when I come in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's not so easy, eh? Sometimes it's not so easy. I'm telling you, being president doesn't mean that you can do anything. Okay. Being a president, you have to, everything that you do must be prescribed in the law.
Wow.
Everything that you do must be prescribed in the law. So, you would actually be sweet talking the Zambian people by saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Believe you me, even my one of my admirer presidency, Trump, crazy as he may appear, he cannot do things anyhow. Okay. He just survived an impeachment over a phone conversation. Wow. He survived an impeachment. So it is not easy. So the point which you have raised is very important, and I would want to speak to my fellow opposition leaders out there who are fond of saying they can do this, they can do this. Like somebody even said that when I come in, I'm going to sell the presidential jet. And by the way, the presidential jet that you're talking about is owned by ZAF. Okay. It's owned by ZAF. Wow. Now, how are you going to sell a ZAF plane? You see? That is ignorance on the part of a presidential candidate, not knowing what is involved in presidency. Okay. Because you can't just do anything. There is no way you would come in today and say, Nangu, even if you are a sample, because some people, yes, sample, they know how to sell things and so on and so forth. But when you are president, it is not easy. So you need to appreciate that there is a system. There is a system which is anchored on the constitution. And so whatever you are doing must be in agreement with the constitution. Otherwise, you go faster than you came. Okay. You can be impeached. But nonetheless, it doesn't mean that when you come, you cannot bring in your ideas. You bring in your ideas, but you have to work with the civil servants. Okay. Because when a government goes, our politicians, the civil servants remain. So you need to work well with the civil servants. Okay. Now, if you are an opposition leader, and every day you are saying, I'll fire you. When I come in, I'll fire you. When I come in, I'll fire you. Ukabomba na banani. Okay. Ukabomba na banani. You have to work with people. Okay. And this is where now the good-heartedness of a person comes in. Okay. The rapport comes in. How do you relate with people? How do you relate with people? You can't be a good leader if every day you are quarreling with people. Okay. If every day you are warning this one, you are warning that one. I'm a civil servant. They will make you fail. Okay. They will make you fail. On President Edgar Lungu, because I'm opposition and I need to offer checks and balances, I want to say you have worked well with the civil servants. Since the PF came in, they have tried to make better the lives of the civil servants. This is a fact. Okay. Now a teacher, and so on and so forth, a lot of people, they have increased the salaries. That is very good. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to say that PF, still increase our salaries. nopo tufikile, the economy has changed. The economy has changed. Things have gone up. You know, things have gone up. Monenyama light. If we just talk about electricity, how much was electricity, you know, when they came into power, and how much is electricity today? Electricity has increased more than 500 times. More than 500 times. If you talk about fuel, it has increased. If you talk about millimil, it has increased. Many things have gone up. So we appreciate the good relationship that you have with the civil servant, with the civil service. We appreciate that. But we are saying, especially as we are starting a new year, how can we mitigate, you know, the challenges of the civil service? Because at the moment, and it is a obligation, it is a responsibility of the current government to see how they can help the civil service before Chilufya Tayali talaisa. Because Chilufya Tayali talaisa lelo yo. Chilufya Tayali is coming in future. So I'm not going to start to speak here to say, no, mwema civil servant, I am saying, President Edgar Lungu, together with your cabinet, can you see how you can mitigate the life of the civil service so that they can be motivated? So that they can be motivated. If they are not motivated, twakula ilishanya femo akuchipatala ati no amanesenzi tabale twafwa no ama doctors tabale twafwa yo baticha tabale funda yo bakapokola tabale ikata abale chitatia gassing abale tefima gassing tabale bekata because they are not motivated.
All right.
Let us motivate the civil service. That way we will synchronize the policies. Politicians it will be in agreement with the civil service. The system will agree. Otherwise, if you just say, no, I want this, but you're not looking at the system, it will fail. But if the system, if the policies, the politicians, and the civil service are agreeing, the country will go forward.
Wow. Okay, so that was great. Coming back to Madam Mukanda Weir, yes, how do we engage the young people in politics and also to make them have a clear mind of the economic growth of the country?
We have several interactions with people in politics. I'm going to mention other events that we've held in the past and those that we're going to hold this year as EAZ. Basically, our interactions are based on both the private sector and the decision makers. When you say the youth, anybody below 40 is a youth. We have a very good interaction with them, and we obviously give them information and advice on what's happening. We're very informal advisors to the government, yes. However, our role is not to enforce what the government does. We just explain to them exactly what's going on and what steps they can take to make the economy better. Yes.
All right.
I'm not so sure if you followed us, but I think we've visited almost every stakeholder in the economy. Almost every minister knows what EAZ is about.
Wow.
Yes, including the president himself.
Wow.
No, you are doing very well with your president, Dr. Hawazoka. You are yes. No, you are doing well.
Before he became president, the association was in a very critical situation. But under his leadership, I can probably say he's been a game changer.
Well, very good. I hope I can see that he's molding the young people like yourself so that you can take over.
Yes, and then another thing I'd like to mention, our secretariat and our board is actually we've employed more youths. On our board, I think there are only 2 people that I really want to refer to as youths. The whole secretariat is just made up of youths. And also we promote internship programs. So we basically approach certain institutions, universities rather, and we bring in people on board as interns. All our events are successful because of youth participation.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you can just allow me just to say something on what EAZ is doing. I mean, I want just to basically acknowledge and appreciate what they are doing.
All right.
And you know, this is how, the non-governmental and the professional bodies are supposed to be working. I think EAZ is one example of institutions that are helping government.
Okay.
The problem that we have in this country with some of these NGOs / professional bodies, they tend to be like people who are fighting government.
Okay.
So instead of helping government, they become saboteurs. They become saboteurs. They sabotage government.
Okay.
I strongly believe that the professional bodies and the NGOs, we are got only one objective, and that objective is to serve the people, to make the lives of the Zambian people better. Now, if you are every day engaging in fighting the government, I mean, how are you helping?
Okay.
Who do you help? Me, I don't understand. Some people, they say, no, tayari ba PF bala kulisha mo, whatever. No, ni strategy.
Okay.
Ni strategy.
All right.
If you are going to be fighting, who are you going to help in fighting?
Okay.
Imagine if if actually I came here, you have called me, Nicho, we are able to understand each other.
Yes.
But if I came here and I start, arguing with you, hey, Shani, what? I mean, how are you going to go forward?
No way.
There is no way you are going to go forward
Exactly.
in antagonism. Antagonism never bring anything. Some people think they are powerful. They are powerful. I like Hawazoka.
Okay.
Will you go and tell that brother of mine that I like him?
All right. Okay. Let's get back to the topic. Okay, getting interesting here. Okay, now we come back to the president. We've seen that quite a number of youths in the country, I can't say now, but in the country have been used as a tool of violence. And here, us as Christian Nation Radio, we are here to promote peace,
Yes.
love, and unity in the country.
Yes.
So now, from the political party point of view, you're just your political party. How are you trying to ensure that all those followers, your followers, those who are youths, are not involved in these political violences in the country?
You see, myself, particularly I, as Chilufya Tayali, the married man, touch and go,
Yes.
the public lawyer,
Uh-huh.
I try to do something different.
Okay.
I do something different. I don't want to be like all the other politicians. I want to do something different. And I've got 4 objectives.
Okay.
Number 1, I look at myself as a brother and sister to everybody else.
Okay.
And at that level, I want to speak, words of inspiration.
Yes.
I want to encourage people. I want to talk about their spiritual life. I speak about spiritual issues. Every day in the morning, when you look at what I post, it's spiritual.
Okay.
Because I recognize myself, number 1, before anything, I am a child of God.
Okay.
Before anything, I'm a child of God. And as a child of God, I need to profess love. I need to teach love. I need to talk to people about the word of God.
Okay.
So that is the first thing. Then from there, number 2, I am a family man. Before anything, I wake up in bed with my wife. Well, my wife, not girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, I wake up in bed with my wife. I come out of my bedroom. I interact with my children.
Okay.
So number 1, I'm a family person, and I want to inspire other people out there to value their families.
Okay.
And if we are going to have healthy families, we are going to have a healthy society.
Okay.
So number 2, I am a family man. Number 3, I am a breadwinner of my family and my other extended brothers and sisters,
Wow.
as well as other people that are underprivileged. So I work, and what I have, I want to make sure that it goes to my family, it goes to help other people around.
Okay.
So I strive to do all this to help, to work, to earn my living, and I also want to encourage other people to do the same.
Okay.
So when I post what I post on social media, some people, they think that I'm just joking. No, I just do it in such a way that, I bring in a bit of humor, because I know Zambians don't like to read. So if I'm going to start talking seriously and all, I mean, they won't get it.
Okay.
So I bring in a bit of humor, but at the end of the day, I want to tell you that, look, a man must earn a living for his family. You must work. Number 4, that is where politics come in.
Okay.
And my politics is not for me to get rich and what. My politics is to save.
Okay.
So, number 1, I make sure that my relationship with my God and my brothers and sisters is good.
Okay.
And I profess this through what I do, especially on social media. Number 2, I make sure that I'm a family man. I attend to my wife. I attend to my children. Number 3, I make sure that I'm a man who is able to work and provide for my family and those that are underprivileged. Number 4, I make sure that I am a politician and I fight for others.
Okay.
This is, as Chilufya Tayali, touch and go, married man, public lawyer. This is how I try to, inspire others.
Okay.
But of course, I am very disturbed, especially this time around. I mean, with what is happening in the country. I've mentioned this issue of gassing, and I heard Bishop Imakando, a wonderful preacher. I mean, really is very gifted, blessed man. You heard how he was saying it. Stop gassing these people. Stop gassing your brothers and sisters. Tell those people who are sending you. But the question that we ask is, why are these people doing this? Do you think they really want to hurt their brothers and sisters?
No.
Do you really think they want to be walking at night? Infulaile locally are walking around getting soaked. They do this ichirelenga chinshi ninsala ichirelenga because these people are vulnerable. They are being used. They are not doing this out of their own free will. They are being used. And my brothers and sisters out there, I know life is hard, but I want to tell you, of course, I can't speak like Bishop Imakando. He was so powerful. But in my little...
That was Father Lupupa.
Oh, that was Father Lupupa?
Yes.
Oh. I think it's because of... I'm so familiar with these voices. These are common voices. Anyways, indeed, what Father Lupupa said, what my elder brother Father Lupupa was saying, of course, I can't measure up to their preaching. But indeed, this is very important.
Okay.
Please, life is hard, but I'm begging you that don't be used. Don't be used to tear gas others.
Okay.
And I'm begging you that don't be used in politics by selfish politicians. It's only selfish politicians who are using the youths as a stepping stone to get into power. And I am praying that these people will rescind from using. Basically, they're not actually using, they're abusing the young people, to achieve their interests. I don't know what is the motive behind this issue of gassing. I really don't understand. And I want to take this opportunity on this radio, because I'm a politician. I want to take this opportunity to say, can the police, can the Honorable Minister, Mr. Kampyongo, issue a statement explaining the situation, what is really happening in the country? Because at the moment, what they are giving us is not enough for us to really equip ourselves or to help out. Panonji, I don't even know what can I do. I don't even know what can I do as a citizen. There is this crisis. It's a crisis. But what can I do as Chilufya Tayali unless I'm guided by those in power that, look, this is what you should do. These people, what is motivating them is this. And these people are coming from here. So that we can confront the problem as it is. And that's why people are saying ritual killing and so on and so forth. I mean, it is because of speculations. And the only people that can help us are the police. And the person that speaks to us is a politician like Honorable Kampyongo. That's why Ngabai said, no, we are investigating. They can't explain properly because the politicians know how to talk better. Can your Honorable Kampyongo issue a statement to calm the nation, to help us, to equip us so that we know we are in the dark, and dispel some of these speculations, because some of it are speculations. Just when I was coming, I was actually going to be late at a school, a named school in Olympia. I saw students out on the road, running, panicking. And I asked, what is it? These people who are gassing, they just came to our school.
Okay.
Now, it could be true. It may be just this anxiety. Before we lose too many lives, can they come in and issue a statement?
Okay.
Otherwise, people are being used and abused by selfish people. And it is up to those people who are guided by the Spirit. Zambia is a Christian nation. And the leaders of this country are Christians who want to uphold the values of Christianity. Can they come and win over this battle coming from whatever evil spirit? Can we fight it and conquer it?
Okay. Wow, thank you so much. Coming back to Madam Mkandawire, how do we strive as youths in this hard economy where maybe things are not good? We see that there is a high price of meals and these other differences that we have been facing. As you as an economist, how do we strive as youths? How do we help ourselves to just find a way of strategizing things?
I'm going to mention a very important point.
Okay.
Especially, I think he actually mentioned, President here mentioned something. Let's get back to the land.
Okay.
Why we are complaining about minimum prices is the fact that we buy almost everything.
Okay.
We're buying minimum, we're buying clothes. We have to walk into a shop to then buy tomatoes.
Okay.
For me, I think as youths, we need to move away from that.
Okay.
I own a farm. I've got a farm.
Wow.
I don't buy chicken. I
Wow.
don't buy eggs. I don't buy vegetables.
Okay.
And that's really helping me. I understand the pressure is there, but I'm not feeling the pressure of minimum, because you know what I do? I just get maize, go to a hammer mill, and I have my mini mill. So I think as youths, let's be innovative. Let's participate in agriculture. Let's ensure that we don't shy away from things that are going to help us save.
Okay.
You don't have to spend on each and everything.
All right.
At least just your backyard. You can even grow vegetables in your backyard. You don't necessarily have to have a farm.
Okay.
Keep even just maybe 4 or 5 chickens. That's gonna help.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Maybe just your advice to some of the youths in the country. Just your advice.
So my advice to the youths, first of all, as Economics Association of Zambia, in conjunction with Australia Learning USA, we have Zambia Wakanda One Diaspora Summit. So for the youths, the meeting is going to be at Government Complex on the 19th of May, and the speaker is coming from the USA, Dr. Arikana Chihombori, the former AU ambassador to the United States of America. She's a very influential lady. Please come in numbers. We want to at least have 1,000 attendees. Feel free, contact EAZ Secretariat. Our numbers on our website, on our Facebook page. Please be part of this great movement.
Okay, so you just mentioned about the movement. You didn't tell us what will happen there.
So this summit is not only for the youth, it's also going to cater for women.
Okay. All right. Now, before that, maybe we just get the conclusion from the president there. What's your last words?
Well, I think we have said quite a number of things on this program, and I thank National Christian FM for giving us this opportunity, and I want to encourage you that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
To the young people out there, I want to say, number one, you must know that your life is not an accident.
Okay.
It is not by accident that you are living. It is not by accident.
Okay.
God planned your life. God knew what he was doing when he put you in the womb of your mother. None of us was born as an accident.
Wow.
That's why I'm a pro-life. When a child is conceived, it is God's plan.
Wow.
And if you come out and you grow up to the age at which you are, you have to know that God is in your life.
Okay.
You may have challenges. You may have challenges. Those challenges should not make you go down. Okay. Those challenges should make you strong.
Wow.
So please fight and always pray to God. Every morning pray. Put your life in God. Surrender your life to God pray that God will help you, and definitely, I can assure you, definitely God will come and help you in whatever situation that you are in. Don't have so much hope into the politician, in the politician. I'm a politician as well. But don't take politicians in place of your God. There are some youth who are looking at some of these politicians like Evale Sawavo. Okay. They just want, this politician, believe you me, politicians will fail you. Trust in God. And these politicians, listen to us. Make sense of what we are saying. But when we tell you, go in the streets to fight for us, refuse. Refuse, I tell you, refuse, refuse, refuse. In the name of Jesus, refuse. Because you go in the streets, you will get hurt. You will die. And the politicians, especially some of these politicians, some of their children, they are not even in Zambia. Okay. You don't even see them. They send them overseas. They are in other countries. And you, a child of a poor person, they are telling you, go in the street and fight. No, my elections have been rigged. Go in the street and fight. You know, the rich children don't go out there to demonstrate. It's the poor children in the compounds who are being used. Nami papata, young people, don't be used in this way. Trust in God and keep praying and be good. Do what you can. If an opportunity comes, please embrace that opportunity. EIZ is giving an opportunity right now. This is an opportunity. Embrace it. Register to be part of that at Shad Wakanda, Zambia Wakanda 1 conference. Register to be part of that Zambia Wakanda conference. That is an opportunity. Learn something from there. That is how you should be spending time, not listening to us and following us politicians, sending you into the streets. I think these are my last words to the young people. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much. Due to time, I'm sure we still have that feeling of having discussing more and having more time here. It's been a very great program. I would like to just appreciate President Chilufya Tayali for just making time to come through and just share this experience with us here at Christian Nation FM. So my dear listeners, you've been listening to Youths in Leadership with me, your host Nyambe, and my guests in the studio have been President Chilufya Tayali, who is the President for Economic and Equity Party, as well as Rita Mkandawire, who is the Deputy National Secretary from Economic Association of Zambia. So do just join us too that day when we say bye-bye, but this time I'll just say bye-bye to you because my time says I should leave. But thank you so much for just spending time with us on 106.5. Stay blessed and we love you. Thank you so much for coming through, my guests.
Thank you very much. It's been a privilege.
Oh, wow, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Wow, great. Thank you so much, dear listeners, for tuning in and enjoying this program with me, Nyambe, and my guest in the studio. I say bye-bye and have a very blessed day. Love you more.
In all 72 drives into one great Destination FM.
Rita,
72
thank you very much. It was a wonderful program.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Wish to have you soon. Oh, the pictures?